Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another day of Bookmas. So today I'm going to be doing a tag. I was recently tagged by Gina from the Library Mouse, and this tag is called Reading in the Dark. And you gotta do that this time of year, right? Because it's the dark. This was originally created by Books I'm Not Reading. I will link both creators' videos down below so you can go and get, you know, the questions there and watch their videos and all that. So this tag is all about reading in the dark, both physically and metaphorically. So here we go. Number 1, did you ever read under the covers with a flashlight as a kid? If so, do you have any memorable books or experiences? So I don't remember ever reading under the covers with a flashlight as a kid. A book light I don't think was a thing when I was a kid, unless you were like 75. I don't remember having them for kids. And then the flashlight thing, I don't think I think the only people who had flashlights in my household was my dad. But I didn't really need to read under the covers because I remember my mom allowing me to read by, I think I had a nightlight. I probably couldn't have seen my book by my nightlight though, but I remember my mom allowing me to read late into the night. I must have had a bedside lamp or something, or maybe she just came in and turned my light off, but I remember, like, I had a bedtime, but I don't think I had a, like, go to sleep time. The reason my parents gave me a bedtime is because they wanted the house quiet so they could, like, do their own thing, right? I don't think it was so much about, like, me needing sleep or whatever. But I remember being allowed to listen to my radio, you know, my, like, boombox. I could listen to that and I could read as late as I could, right? And so I appreciate that so much. All right, number 2, do you read when you wake up in the middle of the night as an adult? Do you use an e-reader, a book light, a light on your nightstand, etc.? Please share any memorable books or other memorable experiences. So, I don't wake up in the night as an adult. I really need sleep, and so I'm just not to that stage yet. I'm sure I will at some point get to that stage where I wake up in the night, but I wake up to go to the bathroom and I'm back to bed. I don't just wake up like insomnia, staring at the ceiling. I've had times in my life when I did struggle with that, but this is not one of those seasons. And I think it's because I read so late. So my husband goes to sleep pretty early. Like, he is usually always asleep by like before 11, almost always. Sometimes even before 10, sometimes even before 9. He gets up really early in the morning to go to work, and so he falls asleep pretty early in the evening, and so I have hours. Like, I usually leave my light on at least until 1:30, sometimes later, and so I don't really have that much time to sleep, right, before I gotta get back up again and start doing all the mom stuff. So I don't wake up in the night, but I do read late into the night with a lamp on, sometimes even with the overhead light on and my second lamp. Like, I have 4 lamps in my room and the overhead light. How my husband gets any sleep, I have no idea, but he is totally fine sleeping with all that light on. So it really just depends on how small the print is in the book I'm reading. That will depend on how much light I have on. But when I am on like vacation, you know, with somebody, like maybe I've gone to a women's retreat, or I'm on vacation with my daughters or something, I bring a book light, and yeah, I have to read before I fall asleep. That's just, there's just no question about it. Number 3, power outage. What have your reading experiences been when the lights won't turn on? The TV is dead, the computer is out. Do you read then? Yes, I do, but I don't watch a lot of TV, and I don't really use my computer for entertainment other than listening to my BookTube friends while I'm either driving or sewing is usually what I do entertainment-wise on the computer. I hardly ever watch TV. But if the power is out, oh yes, I've got a book light that I try to keep charged at all times. One year we lost power for like 4 days, and I just sat in front of a candle and read. I had like a taper candle in a little holder, and I just sat there and read and breathed in all of the noxious, horrible things that I shouldn't be breathing in. but I had to read my book. So yes, I will find a way. I've sat in the car in the dark and read when the power was out. I will read my books one way or another. Number 4, reading ignorance. Did you ever read a book because you realized that you were completely in the dark about a particular subject or genre? What was the book and the experience? So I feel like a lot of times I read a book and then I realize that I was in the dark about something, right? I don't very often say, I really need to know about this because I know nothing about it, and so therefore I'm going to read this book. What I tend to do when I'm completely in the dark about something is I just kind of like Wikipedia it and decide if it's worth doing more research on. And if I, had my questions answered by Wikipedia or some similar, easy search online, then I'm just like, okay, move on with my life. But a lot of times I will read it to find out if I want to read more on a subject, right? But one time, I can think of one time though that I really did want to do a deep dive, and that was a couple of years ago. At the first of the year, I was doing Historathon, and I really wanted to learn kind of just the basic timeline of the Romans and, their different, the building of the Roman Empire and just who was what when, that kind of a thing. And so I dedicated that first quarter of Historathon to reading about the Romans. And I did learn some stuff, but I am going to do it again because I take everything so personally, and my enjoyment of the learning experience was really clouded by the author that I was reading. So I've learned that I don't care for Mary Beard. In the books that I have read by her, there are more than a few instances of her kind of comparing what she knows to what other people have written about, and she can't just stop there. She kind of has to insult. She kind of has to, put down the other person as being a lesser scholar or not a scholar at all, in order to sort of puff herself up. There's just this attitude of superiority that I have picked up on, and in some of the Goodreads reviews, it seems like other people have picked up on, and it makes her difficult to read for me. If you like her, great, awesome, good for you. But for me, I don't know, I just take things personally. I just get like offended easy, I don't know, maybe, but I just didn't really care for that. I just felt like I'm reading a nonfiction, let's keep your sentimental emotions out of it. Anyway, so yeah, the Romans. And I'm kind of kicking around using Historathon to do kind of a deep dive study of the history of maybe, this year, the history of England, and from clear back to, their earliest records, which everything that I have found concerning England itself kind of just goes back to the Romans coming. So, see if I can dig a little deeper and maybe go back a little further, but then, maybe take this year and study just that history in depth, right? And then maybe another year study the history of another country that I'm interested in, and just kind of learn a little bit more about Western history, past, just what I'm kind of picking up from here and there, but just do like deep dive studies is very interesting to me. And I do feel like I know a lot of stuff, but the timelines are what I struggle with. I would like to know things. I'd like to know where the stuff that I know fits on a timeline, right? Like I could name you 35 kings and queens or whatever, but where they go in the line, anybody that's kind of like before the Henrys, I don't got a clue. So that's something I like to learn, is that older history timeline. Number 5, reading blindly. Do you ever read a novel without knowing anything about it? You haven't read the back of the book or any reviews, you just jump in. Why would I do that? No, I don't think I have ever in my life just picked up a book and started reading without knowing anything about what. To me, I just like, that's so spontaneous. And I don't, and I'm not a spontaneous person. Yeah, no, I don't think I've ever done that before. I feel like I need to know what I'm getting into because it's that mentality of, I only got so much time left. I got to make sure that I'm using it to the best possible, whatever. And so, you know, that mentality I really want to get away from, but it's that mentality that makes me not want to waste even a second on a book that I, you know, might not read or whatever. And I think that's why I can just DNF so freely, because if I'm not into this book, like, check it, find something good. So yeah, do people do that? Like, let me know in the comments. That's what I would like to hear from you guys. Do you guys ever do that? Just pick up a book and blindly read it? Like, if someone said, hey, you should read this book, it's great. Would you just be like, okay, and then you just, like, you know, that night, lay it on your bed, open it up, start reading without even knowing? Like, I just can't imagine doing that. Can't imagine doing that. Okay, next one, number 6, other dark places. Camping, cars, basements, the movies. What are any other dark places you have read in, maybe unexpectedly? I've never read at the movies. I rarely go to the movies, but when I do, like, I'm with somebody and we're purposefully there, so I can't imagine just like, well, you watch the movie, I'll read my book. No. Camping, yes. Again, I bring my little travel book light if we're camping, and I read by the light of my book light. I used to be able to read by the light of the fire, but I need more light than that now. So I can read with my book light by the light of the fire in the nighttime. Reading in cars, you know, we don't do very much like nighttime travel, so I'm not opposed to reading in cars, but it's just not something I normally do. Basements, no. All my kids are in the basement. So yeah, other dark places, I don't know. I'm home so much, like, I just read at home. That's it. I'm not really answerable to anyone here, right? So it's more like, if I want the light on, then I turn the light on and read. Number 7, Epiphany. The lights are on. What book or books have given you a proverbial light bulb over your head? Something that really illuminated an idea to you. All right, so there's 2 books for this. One is The Breadwinner by Deborah Ellis. I read this in March of this year. It says 2025. I don't think I read that. Did I really read that this year? Hold on. Wow, I really did. Okay, see, guys, that proves my point. Life is long. Because I only read that this past March, and I feel like it's been years. All right, so anyway, The Breadwinner, it tells the story about a family in Afghanistan when the Taliban has come in and taken over, and her father cannot provide for them anymore, and so she has to disguise herself as a boy and go out and try to earn money to support her mother and sister, and I think they have a friend living with them, I can't remember. But it basically tells the story of this time in Afghanistan with the Taliban in charge, and just the hardships that people were going through. And first time that I heard about Afghanistan and the Taliban, and things, political change there and societal change there and all that, I was in high school, and I really didn't, it was so far away, there was no internet, right, in those days, and so it was just such a faraway place, and I really didn't even know where it was, and I didn't know anybody who was involved, and I was 17. I feel like I just, there wasn't a compassion there for me, because I was just living my life, and there were just words to me. Afghanistan, Taliban, whatever. All the things involved in that, they were just words. And I was like, well, it's not happening here. And so it wasn't that I meant to be cold. And just all of these years, it's not really that I meant to be cold or uncaring. It's that I didn't have anything that kind of made me be exposed or wonder about it. And I didn't just naturally wonder about it, right? And so when I read this book, The Breadwinner, I read it for middle grade March. I had found it at a thrift shop, and like the month or two before, and I was thinking, I know I want to do middle grade March, but I want to do something that I kind of learn from, so I'll read this. And it really did change me. I learned so much from it. And the thing I really loved about the way this story was told is there wasn't even really a heavy emphasis on really bad side, really good side. There was even a point at which the young girl who, was going out and disguising herself as a boy to earn her money, there's a point where she encounters a Taliban member, and there is just a compassionate moment, and you feel compassionate for him. And I think it just really served to show the humanity of everyone who was, everyone involved. And so there's more in the series, and I may add that to my middle grade March list for this year, because that book really did change me. It opened my eyes, and it gave me a reason to care about people in this place so far from me, and to wonder about them, and to wonder about the politics and the society, and to have compassion, because I was now exposed to something that I had formerly been ignorant of, right? Didn't know why I should know. And then I read that and I was like, now I know. The other book kind of goes along that same line as far as like the message that it sent to me, and that is The Book Thief by Marcus Zusak, right? Is that who that's by? Yeah. And it's a really big book. I read it in, I don't know, hours. Like, I just flew through this book. In fact, I actually bought it for one of my daughters for Christmas. I think she's gonna just love this book. But it's a middle grade book. It's just really, really, really long. It's like, I don't know, 800 or 900 pages. And but the thing that I realized like 20 pages from the end of this story was that history's propaganda is still telling us that the Germans murdered the Jews. Like, it's just condensing it right down to that, right? The Germans murdered the Jews. The end. And, and then now 75, 80, however many years it's been since the Holocaust, many Americans at least still hold a grudge against Germans in general. You hear German, you automatically think Nazi. You hear about the German culture, you automatically think Jew haters. And we know that there's so much more to it all than that. For one thing, there was more than Germans who were murdering people, and there was more than Jews who were murdered, right? So it's bigger than that, for one thing. But the thing that the story showed was that wasn't the mentality of all the people. The people who did the horrible crimes were extremists. They were a portion. They were a small number of people who did some really bad stuff. And it wasn't all the Germans, right? And it wasn't even just Germans, but today's propaganda tells us that all Muslims are terrorists, right? For a lot of people in America, you hear the word Muslim and you automatically think terrorists because of, what happened with 9/11. In the time I read this and wrote this review, which I think was 2017, I wrote, we hear Muslim and we think ISIS, right? And our hate boils over, right? But it's not. It was the extremists. It's not all Muslims. It's the extremists. It's the extremists in whatever people group we're talking about, right? These people who will commit hateful crimes are not representative of their entire people group. They are just representatives of the other people who think like them, right? And I think that's what this book really taught me. It helped me to see that, at that time, whenever I heard German, I thought Nazi. At that time, whenever I, heard Muslim, I thought terrorist. Like, it helped me to recognize I need to be so careful not to lump everyone in, right? Especially when it comes to something as serious as attacking someone's morality and character and what they might do you know, that would bring fear and instability, and like, that's so wrong, right? So yeah, the book thief really opened my eyes up to my thinking on that, and just kind of like my general, you know, what I've been exposed to in society, the thinking on that. And I don't want to be like that. All right, and then number 8 is just to tag some people. So I'll go looking around and see if I can find some people who haven't yet done this tag and tag you in the description. No pressure, but if you do the tag, please do tag me so I can come back and watch your video. If I didn't tag you, but you want to do it and tag me so I can go watch your video, and let me know if you like to be tagged in future tags. I will be happy to tag you. I love to be tagged, so if you're one of those that likes to be tagged too, let me know, and I'll put you on my list of people to tag. All right, guys, hope you're having a beautiful day. I will see you soon. Bye.